Okay, so here's how to create a basic chord chart in Pro Tools software. That's right, a chord chart right inside Pro Tools. Okay, so I'm starting off with a brand new session. There's nothing in here except a click track. I'm going to make this very basic and to the point, so I'm going to leave out a bunch of new or audio tracks. I'm just going to create a stereo instrument track. I'm going to name it piano. Double click on it. Okay, so I happen to know that the tempo for this song I want to be, let's say 96 BPM. So I'm going to double click right there, right at the tempo at the very beginning. Or I can type up, click up here in the tempo field in the MIDI control section. If you don't have the MIDI control section visible, go to this menu in the upper right, make sure that MIDI controls is checked, and we'll type in 96 BPM. And so I have bars and beats as my main counter up here at the top. I have the tempo ruler, which I don't really need to have, so I'm going to get rid of that. But I am going to add the key and chords rulers. So the key I want for this, I'd have my cursor set all the way to the top of the session. So I hit return, take the cursor all the way to the very beginning. I'm going to make the key a minor key. Let's do E minor because I'm a guitar player. And I want the song to start, bar one in other words, to start a little bit in. There's going to be a little pickup. And you can always do this at any point, so you don't have to do this at the, before you record anything. You can change the bar number at any point. So I want bar one to start where bar three currently is. So I'm going to click right at bar three, go to the event menu, renumber bars, and I want bar three to become bar number one. So if I look at my cursor right here, it's bar one, right? And then there's bar zero, and then there's a negative bar because I moved bar one up 2 bars. All right, so that's the beginning of my song. And at that location, I want an E minor chord. So I'm going to, in the chords column, right where my cursor sits on bar one, I'm going to hit this plus sign here on the chords ruler. And I'm going to choose, where is it? E minor. There it is. And that chord is going to play for 2 bars. And then at bar 3, I want to add an A minor 7. Let's do that. A minor 7. There it is. And then at bar 5, it goes back to E minor. So I'm clicking at the plus sign on the chords ruler each time. I can also do it over here. If you hold down the control key, and you can click right at the location you want the chord to appear. So right here at bar 7, click, I get the chord change window, and I want that to go back to an E minor. Let's go E minor 7. What the heck? And then here at bar 7, I'm going to hold down the control key on a Mac, and I'm going to make that a B7. No, let's see. Yeah, B7. Let's go B7. Okay. All right. So I've got a few chord changes in there. I've got the key of the song in there. I have the tempo, 96. I can show that again just to be consistent. So I have the tempo and the meter if I want. That's in there, 4/4, right? So those are all the things that I want to appear in this score, right? So I don't have any MIDI notes whatsoever created in here, and I don't have my MIDI keyboard connected right here. So I'm just going to draw in a note or two. So we'll draw that in, and that note is an F sharp. I'm going to take that up to or down to an E. And we'll go something like that. And I'm just going to draw in a few notes. Okay. So now I want to see, I'm going to save. I want to see what this looks like in the score editor. So I'm going to right click in, I'm going to go to Smart Tool first. Right click in the instrument track and choose Open Score Editor. And there it is. This is called My Next Hit Song. I named it that and I put my name in there. And I did that by going into this little menu here in the upper right corner of the tracks menu inside the score editor window. Now this is still inside Pro Tools software. I'm inside Pro Tools. So click that and score setup. All right, what do I want to call this? My hit song, right? Number 2. Or if I want to or not, put my name as the composer. What other items do I want? Do I want chord diagrams in there? I can include those if I want or not. And let's see, what else do we have in here? So notation display, track settings, grand staff, treble, bass, whatever I want the staff to show, transpose, other goodies in here. All right, so I've created a very, very basic chord chart, but a lot of times this is just enough. Now you'll see MIDI notes in this chord chart from MIDI tracks, right? So if you don't have any MIDI or instrument tracks in the session, you won't get the score editor. You won't have anything to score. Unfortunately, Pro Tools will not transcribe or transpose or transcribe audio tracks, right? So you won't get any information from audio tracks, but MIDI tracks or instrument tracks is what I'm using here. This will get you the ability to create a chord chart. And if you're a piano player, this is great. You can play the chords or play the melody line and it will appear here. So one trick to making the notes appear in kind of a more clean fashion, I guess you'd say, is to quantize. And remember, I just penciled these notes in, so they're probably not even good notes in terms of keys. But I'm going to turn on quantize. So I'm going to go real-time properties, hit quantize. And let's see if that changes up my score editor at all. Not really. I drew these notes in. And that's why they look a little bit weird. If you were to play this, it would look more legit in terms of how the notes are laid out there. All right, so that's a very, very brief overview of how to do a chord chart in Pro Tools. Oh, wait, one important thing, right? So I'm in my score editor window inside Pro Tools, and from here I can right-click and I can print it right from here if I want to. If I have a printer set up, or I can save it as a PDF file, whatever the case may be, or better yet, I can, what did I do here? Print score, send to Sibelius, score setup, notation. I could have sworn I emailed it right from here. Print score, oh, that's what I did. Yeah, so print and then send in mail. So I can email this score right from within inside Pro Tools, which is handy, right? Okay, so if you want to get in, and you could add notes in here if you want to. You can create notes. I don't remember how to do it. That's bad news. Insert, and you can change notes. It's a little bit cumbersome in terms of the note editing in Pro Tools. I'll admit that, but it's not really aimed at that. If you really want to get deeper into notation, then of course Sibelius is the application to do that in. But hopefully this will get you just to the chord chart realm.